Hello, everyone. Welcome to Portrayal.
Welcome to the podcast talk show.
Something like that, yes. It's going to be a very broad show today because we will be talking about Purrely, everybody's favorite little guys.
Yeah,
the Amigo.
Purrely is not a huge archetype, so we're gonna have, I think, like at least two, two. What's the word? Diatribes.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to start with the non-Purrely stuff or end with the non-Purrely stuff. But it's been a big weekend for Yu-Gi-Oh, honestly. So
I think we should talk about the ban list first.
It's usually what people want to see. People like ban list reactions. All right, let me table that up right now.
Yeah, like we can do Purrely fairly simply, and also like we it's just me and Omega, so
yes.
I think doing ban list discussion right now will be a good way for us to not kill some time, but allow our other buddies to get in for the actual fail Portrayal part.
Yeah, buy a little time for them because they're busy or asleep, which is a form of being busy. It's very important to sleep. But yes, we actually officially have the ban list. This was, I don't think there are any differences from the images they posted on Twitter. This, at the start of the weekend, but they officially posted it to their website, so we have the actual forbidden and limited list pulled up. So it's basically what they said it was. It's gone in effect as of yesterday. So let me just, I was just checking the levels. Okay. So the ban list, nothing new in the orange zone, no new purples. Let me actually make sure that's framed up correctly so you can see all that. I'll scooch it down a little bit more. But yes, all the big new hits in the extra deck section. So Link Karibo, banned. Baron de Fleur, banned. Borreload Savage Dragon, banned. This is an interesting one. This feels like the kind of thing that, on the one hand, this feels like a big PR win, because most of your casual audience, especially those who play games like Master Duel, but even just some of your, local players and even competitive players are going to go, oh, they banned, generic extra deck negate synchros? Thank God. Fucking finally, Yeah.
I might be in the vocal minority. I will say, I don't think these are bad bans, preface. I don't think these are bad bans in concept, but I don't really like them. I don't know. Maybe I'm in a vocal minority.
I will say, what I want to say is, this is especially I think the synchros. Actually, Link Karibo is a little bit more like banning every tuner in the game because of Hulk.
Link Karibo deserves to be gone. I'm specifically Baron and Savage.
Yeah. The Link Karibo is a card that I've heard. I don't remember them saying it very loudly, but I have actually heard before from current meta competitive brained players who keep up on this stuff, going, yeah, that guy's probably gonna have to go sometime when we finally get a good deck that has a quintessential level 1 starter. Hey, guess what?
Snake Eyes Fire King.
Snake Eyes Poplar is such a distinctive level 1 starter card. We are already genericizing him. We are already starting to call other cards a Poplar. So, Link Karibo is problematic. But Baron and Borreload feel a lot like in the Hulk days when we would just hit other tuners rather than actually hit Hulk. Which, ironic, it's very funny because I'm kind of surprised they didn't just put Jet Synchron back in jail.
Yeah.
He is absolutely the card that allows Snake Eyes to go into these guys. They don't have a tuner natively.
Yeah, because, I think hitting Baron does make an amount of sense. I'm in this weird in-between stage right now where, I've had them to see the ban list, and we hit Savage because if we didn't hit it after hitting Baron, people would just pivot to Savage. So, it wouldn't accomplish anything hitting just one of them.
There's unfortunately so many good, generic Link 2s you can make that you can't ban them all. You can easily make a Borreload with 2 negates, which is just as good as a Baron. And honestly, depending on the levels, because Dia Bellstar herself is a 7, so honestly, it may actually be easier in certain lines of Snake Eye Fire King to make an 8 than a 10. Though Sync 10 has, because of Barone exactly, Sync 10 became a very like in desire range to be in.
Yeah, because it's 10 is what? Barone and Pepino, right? Oh, Pep is 11, right?
Yeah, Pep's 11. 10 is well, it's King Calamity, the big guy who's probably going to prison. Already gone to jail in the OCG. Will probably go to the jail in TCG sometime.
Let's look at some 10s.
Yes. There are some other good 10s. I mean, both of the
Dispatter?
big. Yes, Dispotter is a 10. Both
Chaos
of the
Angel,
big.
which is like
Yeah,
Chaos Angel is one of those cards that I feel like Chaos Angel is in the same breath as Link Karibo, where eventually that guy's probably going to become a problem, just because he is generic enough that where you just need light and darks, you don't even need a fucking tuner to summon this guy.
Chaos Angel's such a generic synchro. I can play him in my pure lab deck.
Yeah,
which is saying something.
There's I forgot this guy existed. The ice barrier dragon Lancia.
Ooh, yeah, the new Lancia guy's pretty good. Both of the big Sword Soul guys. I've actually heard some people saying, like, oh, instead of Barone, consider teching in Ice Jade Aegir Grimarine, you know?
Oh, speaking of other level 10s, Trident Dragon and Sun against Super Dragon Transcend Dragon are also 10.
Trident Dragon.
Hey guys, don't forget to ask your friends about Trident Dragon. Don't forget.
Yeah, that's Konami's not good at public relations. That's a big L for them. That said, people are way too butthurt about this. Yes, I know it shot to a $100 card because the secondary market are terrible. You don't actually. I think you only require Trident Dragon exactly for the math if you've played Prospe. Otherwise, you're looking at the difference between like 12 or 15k and like 20 to 30k damage.
Yeah,
if you play good, you can still OTK with 10 pi.
There's also just one more because he's my favorite for Necro shenanigans. Decisive Armor. He's just really funny.
Yeah, Decisive Armor's in there. I think it requires zombies, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you're doing that, you're doing zombie synchro. You can play
Sun
zombie
Saga.
World, but yeah, there's Sun Saga. I think one of the big is Red Eye's Necrolord at 10. I think it might be.
I did see a Red Eye somewhere. Let me. I'm scrolling around.
There's one of the bigger synchro. I think is 10. So yeah, like 10's a very in demand number.
Ruddy Rose is 10.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
Red Eye's Zombie Dragon Lord.
Yeah, Zombie Dragon Lord is...
And Chi-Ching Longwan. I don't think people play that one though. Doesn't sound familiar.
So there's a lot of them in there. So like, obviously on the one hand, yes, banning Barone means that people are going to start looking at their other level 10 synchros to see if they can play them.
Which I think is good in a general sense, but also Barone and Borreload are not being hit because of good generic cards. It's Konami trying to find a way to slightly hit Snake Eyes Fire King.
They're trying to adjust the ratio because they understand that while technically the format hasn't been going on super long, the format is a tier 1 format, and they know people are going to be upset, especially because I assume that somebody at Konami of America or Konami of the EU, the TCG department, looks at Twitter.com. So
yeah,
they
will
have
know
to have
at least like one or two people that browse the Yu-Gi-Oh.
I mean, they have somebody who logs into their fucking Twitter accounts to tweet stuff. So like,
yeah,
they probably see their own trending page. So they have to know that like people are nettled about the fact that Fire King Snake Eye and Pure Snake Eye are decks that cost like $1,000. Which, yes, by the way, again, despite people saying that, Tenpai is still a super budget deck. It does suck that Trident Dragon costs $100 now, and you should not pay that much for it. The card was literally worthless yesterday or 2 days ago, however you want to put at it. Konami has still done an amazing thing. It looks like, according to set spoilers for the next set, every Tenpai card is super rare or lower.
Yeah, like we can hound all day about Trident Dragon not getting the reprint. It'll get one, guys. Like I'm
gonna be honest. I know it's gonna be a couple months from now, but the next OTS pack is gonna be released in June. It'll probably be there as a filler.
Yeah, and yeah, it sucks. It's unfortunate, and Konami, like, not even fumbled the bag. They lit the bag on fire when finding a way to handle it.
Yes.
But I do there is an amount of overreaction. It's
Yeah.
like they're. I still feel like in a general sense, they did pretty well with Tenpai.
Yeah. And that will actually probably like start switching up, our meta a little, as will some of these hits and unhits. We haven't even talked. A lot of shit went out of jail, which is very wild. But yeah, it's a weird one.
My son is finally free.
But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like you said, I think I agree that like these are bans that don't actually solve the problem. The problem is not going to be solved until the TCG probably takes an even more aggressive stance in the OCG, and you're looking at like, high Kirin to 1 or none. You actually like put some of the Snake Eye or Sinful Spoil cards to 1. But clearly Konami is not there yet because they still need to sell sets, and it's one of those weird things, right? Like, I like to bring this up a lot, but Konami has a hard time with their audience because every time they release a set that is nothing but reprints of cards that only are being reprinted because they haven't been reprinted in 15 years, looking at you, Hidden Arsenal Volume 1, everybody on the internet shits on it and nobody wants to buy it.
Yeah,
But, like,
it is
that's where you would get a Trident Dragion reprint if you did buy those sets and were interested in those reprints. And I know, obviously, like, the first, 4 blocks of Hidden Arsenal suck ass. We've talked about them here on Fail Portrayal. We know.
Yeah, look, I am Ice Barrier's strongest defender. Ice Barrier fucking sucked until, 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's... So, yes, it's a bad place to start, but without sets like that, you're not going to get some of these weird reprints. It's that or wait for OTS seasonal packs to come in. So, Konami, I feel like, often is put in a rock and a hard place because the internet can't shut up about, how much, oh, why did we even print this? It's dead pack weight. Well, God forbid Konami figures out some way to fix Allies of Justice. The fact that Hidden Arsenal exists, you're going to play...
I was looking at the Synchro Monsters. I didn't bring it up, but since you mentioned it, there's a level 10 OCG Ally of Justice card or something that I saw.
Oh yeah, I think they did actually reprint a new guy.
Oh no, Arms of Gen X Return 0. It was a Gen X card.
Gen X Return 0. Okay, yeah.
But it looks like an Ally of Justice card, so I guess.
Yeah, they fucking brought Gen X back, y'all. That's a little future generations, but again, it's one of those weird things where, on the one hand, yes, I understand. It sucks that they didn't do a reprint right there in the core set. Because, they're going to do a reprint. Until then, the secondary market gets to eat really good. Because they always eat... Well, actually, I kind of hope they don't eat good. I kind of hope that everybody just goes, fuck you, I'm not spending $100 on Trident Dragion, and everybody loses their fucking investment money. Because...
It's not full art. It's literally just It's literally just one Synchro Monster with Decisive Armor slapped onto it.
Yeah,
it's the funniest shit.
But it's still, they got some stuff out there. But yeah, so these generic hits are on the one hand, everybody's gonna be rest in piss, bozo.
Look, as much as I don't think they're the best bands. I'm not saying I think they should have stayed.
Yeah,
I just feel fundamentally, for what the bandlist was trying to do, they weren't the best hits to the good decks, but Konami also has to still sell cards. It's still a business.
God, sorry, I'm just looking at the comparison. For one thing, I'm looking at the fusion monsters and I'm like, man, was Kit Kalos really that bad?
Kit Kalos.
But look at how many Link monsters and how many Xyz monsters there are that are in prison, as opposed to Synchros, which until this list was 2. It has doubled to 4 banned Synchros.
And even then, there were others on here. The only one, legitimately, the only one that's actually broken on here is Tempest Magician. A Chaos Ruler, Borreload, and Barone are current flavor hits because they were strong. I'm not saying they were I'm not saying they shouldn't be.
They were very mighty. The Chaos Ruler, I think, Chaos Ruler is a very interesting case because I think Chaos Ruler took over Borreload's slot in the extra as your generic 8 guy in a lot of decks because he was really good. And then when they banned Chaos Ruler because he was in fucking everything, Borreload started to creep back. And now, Konami's like, okay, you're playing this asshole too much. prison.
Yeah, like Savage just kind of got caught in the crossfire. I don't think people were really playing him recently, but at the very least, I will give Konami the benefit. I will give Konami credit that they knew if they just hit Baron, people would pivot back to Savage.
Yeah,
like we said earlier, which is
and
actually
obviously,
is a good,
I mean,
move.
some people are gonna complain. Like we got Caesar in chat talking about how people on Reddit are bitching about the bans. Like, yes, generic extra deck monsters are good for rogue decks and pet decks. But
they're also good for meta decks.
Yes, that doesn't actually change the meta. Hello, chat. It's me, Red Eyes' strongest soldier. My opinions were featured in a video by one Mr. BT.
Bro, I didn't even notice that until someone pointed it out.
Yeah, no, I'm in the video. It's hard to tell because I've still got my fucking Norded avatar from when we became X.com. But yeah, MBT said my idea was quote unquote cute. That's going on, on the virtual box art for Fail Portrayal. But I know that, if I ran because there are versions of Red Eyes where you can run a synchro package with Rocket. Does running Borreload make my Red Eyes deck hypothetically better? Yeah. It also makes Snake Eyes better, and Snake Eyes is already infinitely better than my Red Eyes deck.
It makes any deck that can theoretically summon a 10 like 5 times better by itself because it's just a generic negate that sits on the board and is an asshole.
Yeah, but Barone is a humdinger of a card, and that one at least you can I know some people sometimes complain when their boss monsters or their extenders become generic and then they get killed and then the archetype loses out on them. Nobody's playing Fleur.
It's me, also Super Quantum Strongest Soldier. I love Red Layer and Blue Layer. I sure hope nothing bad happens to them when in Monarch or something. Like, what do you mean? What, are you playing them in Monarch? They're cards.
Ugh. But yeah, I've scrolled down a little. We can also see in the continuing sense of sending floodgates to hell, summon limit straight out banned.
Rip Bozo.
Yes.
This one will not be missed.
And honestly, that's just where we're gonna be. I think with all floodgates, some people do play floodgates, but when you see Mystic Mine hit a list, you're just like, pack watch, R.I.P. Bozo, smoke it up,
Okay, so the real question is, when will we have to ban Synchro Zone?
Oh, I don't. That one's a weird one.
Enough to want to run Synchro Zone.
Well, guess what? Running Synchro Zone's gonna be a lot harder because we banned 2 of the generic Synchro extra deck negates. It still might go. Chad is also asking, will Apo get the bullet? Apo, I think, is a lot more hard to make work because you need a certain amount of materials, and obviously, it's a scaling down problem. We may see an Apo ban in our time period if just, every deck is so down bad for a negate, we go back to running, every deck goes back to running Apo.
Yeah. Unless every single deck in the format pivots to making Apo their new Barone, I do not think Apo deserves a ban. It is. I don't want to say it's balanced because it's still it's infinite theoretical negates.
Yeah. Just the main thing is that it was, as evidenced by the fact that Apo for a long time fell out of favor. Apo is a lot more complex. Only certain decks can make Apo, even though she is a generic Link monster. You still have to puke enough guys onto the board to make it matter. Oh, Nib is crazy good after this list, but I believe that we should consider that okay because Nib is a hand trap that deals with problems in the meta. The fact that Nib is now unstoppable in Sword Soul is probably the only thing going to keep those guys from fucking coming back because they let some shit out of prison that I'm not okay with. But we'll talk about that when we get to limits. Which we may get to right now. Do you have anything more to say about putting Summon Limit in the ground where it belongs? Fuck Summon Limit. All my homies hate Summon Limit.
It deserves to be there.
All right, so let me make sure all this is framed up in the vidya. I'm gonna be a little too high. Let me scroll up a little. Because we've gotten 3 unforbiddens in the orange zone of the limit list. So, first of all, Protoss still won.
I am a little concerned about Protoss. I do not think it will be format warping, but Protoss will definitely still do things.
Yeah, Protoss is going to be a guy. For one thing, like I said, I've heard a lot of people wondering if, like, oh, is this Konami trying to, like, give Sword Soul back some teeth since they lost their, boss monster Barone? Maybe. I do think that Protoss is way more useful, but Protoss Blind Call Fire is probably going to be pretty good in the meta. Also, this is going to dovetail into
have our red flag in the meta. That's one of my favorite recent posts in response to Protoss.
But also, hey, Protoss goes very well into another package that allows another guy who is put to 1 out. Down in the purple section, you will see a man, a plan, a mistake. Colossus.
Yeah. Again, I do not think will be format defining. I think we are past the point of Colossus and Protoss being like basically what King Calamity was of what I guess is actually, because he's not banned with TCG, right? Or is he? He's not. King Calamity?
VFD? No, that guy's in jail. Oh no, you mean Red Archfiend King Calamity? Yeah, he's not banned yet in the TCG, so he's still available.
He will not be what they will not be what they used to be, where they're basically King Calamity, but they will still be assholes, and they will still be things you can just slide into decks if you have the space.
No, Colossus is really annoying because there is actually people already had this boarded out for Master Duel, because Protoss is at 1 in an MD as well, and so is Colossus. That's honestly probably where these unhits come from, because Colossus and Protoss don't actually warp the Master Duel meta that much. The Master Duel meta is firmly warped around winning the Maxi minigame. I do have the tab open, though, to see if we'll fix that one, though. Yeah?
I just realized something. Colossus is the most annoying hit for decks that aren't Snake Eye and Voiceless Voice. Because those decks can just naturally play around it. But most decks can't.
I think Snake Eyes can a little, though they do also like to add cards to hand.
Well, yeah, they like to add cards to their hand.
That said, I'm pretty sure Sinful Spoils can just... Also, I think Sinful Spoils can just send Colossus to your back row.
Yeah,
it has destruction protection, not targeting protection.
Yeah, and it's been a while since I read the Voiceless Voice cards, but they can just get around your shenanigans, summon the big asshole, not the Ogre Rider, the other guy.
Yeah, Voiceless Voice. It's a deck I haven't studied extensively, but if I remember rightly, it's mostly it's very low to the ground. You can play with a very minimal amount of engine in hand, basically. You don't need to do a lot of search.
Okay, yeah. That's what I was trying to think of.
But so Colossus is not nearly as problematic as he was. There's a shitload of non-destruction removal in the game.
Yeah, the meta has evolved to a point where a guy that gets to some of the board and says I am mistake does not win you the game anymore. He will still be an annoying asshole.
Especially because, like I said, we now have access to that little Nemesis package, Flag, Corridor, and Protoss. There's some really easy ways to set this up to go into a Colossus play, and also possibly search Protoss, I believe is how that works as well. So, you've got some options lying around. You've got some moves, and, will a little 4-card package make or break things? No, but is a little annoying. The other thing is just, listen, y'all, I don't like to be a downer about power creep, and honestly, again, power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very weird statement because, a lot of the oldest cards on the ban list can't come off without errata because they're just too unhinged. Yes, we have changed the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Works so that Graceful Charity is even stronger now, arguably, but Graceful Charity was also super strong when it came out, so, you're never going to top Graceful Charity's power level, but...
If you guys want an idea of how powerful Graceful Charity is, if you'll allow me to shamelessly plug the man, the myth, the legend of Yu-Gi Tubing.
Most of our chat has probably seen it, but
yeah, our good old Simo buddy. If you have not yet watched his history of the OCG, there's an episode that is legitimately 15 minutes long, and it's just Alex summoning getting Exodia on first turn 4 times in a row because he gets Graceful Charity, pot agreed.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, I think to try and make ad rev, they made it best of 5. And it's still 15
played
minutes.
5 or 6 games, and I think 3 or 4 of them, Alex got to Exodia by turn 2.
Yeah, no. Exodia, arguably the first tier 0 deck in the game. So, like, on the one hand, yes, there is power creep, there's complexity creep in games. And it's very shocking to me that we exist in a world where Kirin and Tidal can come to 1. I always was saying, man, Tidal's the one guy they can't ever let back, right? No. We have other foolishes on legs. We've made it so that you can... Tidal is not gonna break the game anymore at 1. I doubt that Dragon Rulers that are not Tempest will ever see higher than 1 for a little while yet, possibly even a long time.
Out of the Dragon Rulers, Tidal is still the one that I feel like at more than 1 copy could become a problem.
Yeah.
But if it is just here, have the Dragon Rulers back as a treat.
Yeah.
They're not gonna destroy.
And we have that new, rank 7 that's clearly supposed to tie in coming. There's a lot of other dragon-related stuff going on, with Tenpai, obviously. Tenpai Dragon Ruler is probably a deck you can play.
Tenpai just throwing in Blaster and even fucking with Agnimizud if you are feeling
you absolutely. By the way, also you absolutely play Blaster in Tenpai because he's a 7 and a dragon that's a special summon, and a fire. That's just good. Thumbs up.
I forget the true kings are 9s.
Yeah,
I don't know why I always forget.
I mean, you can still summon him though, and Agnimazud is a big asshole.
Yeah, you probably just play one of them because he's a giant asshole.
The True Kings are not as spicy as the Dragon Rulers, but they're still guys. They're still big guys. So
Tenpai dragons are actually dragons, right?
Yes, they are actually dragons. They are fire
dragons.
dragon.
You won't get the worm ad, unfortunately.
But it's still very funny. I mean, no, that's. I'm actually super interested. While I've done a pretty good job of just having to roll well enough to assemble most of the way to a pure Snake Eyes deck in Master Duel. I'm also going to be brewing up on probably going to try and brew some illusion stuff since that got added. That's really cool. But expect me to go all in on Tenpai, which will probably be way more rare in Master Duel.
I cannot wait to get a Dai Sangen in my game of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
First it was Hanafuda, now we're mahjonging.
But I'm going to be all in. I love that Tenpai is a strategy, and I've said this before. I actually feel a slight amount of vindictive pleasure about the fact that we've got a giant asshole OTK obliterate you deck in, where the deck says, fuck you, you care about the battle phase because I said so. Because God, for years have I been hearing, oh, battle tricks don't matter. The battle phase is a formality at this point. And Tenpai is here to be no.
Not even just the battle phase, attack modulation, something that we have expounded upon many a time on this series. Attack modulation does matter, guys.
Yeah.
A
lot of old school attack modulation was very small and it didn't matter, but some of it was big. I remember when Rush Recklessly was cool. Malevolent Nuzzler was a meta card.
Rush Recklessly, Kunai with Chain, all those cards were pretty damn valuable. Granted, Kunai with Chain.
Hell, Black Pendant was meta. Once upon a time, because it was an attack mod and a burn.
Black Pendant wasn't just part of the Reversal was FTK guys. It was real. Same as in some instances Fuma Shuriken, it was lesser. Fuma Shuriken is mainly run.
And that's not even getting into Mage Power and United We Stand OTKs. That was those were moves back in the day.
Big Benkei OTK has always existed.
So but I always hear people say, oh, that kind of stuff doesn't matter. And Tenpai is here to be no, we matter. This is a budget deck that is about the battle phase.
It's actually always mattered. You guys were just blind to it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna summon a shitload of dragons and do 20,000 damage. I'm going to summon a bunch of assholes. So I'm locked and ready to rock on that one. So that's cool, but yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. Kirin is interesting.
Oh right, did we not? What did we?
We were talking about Tidal as well. We haven't talked about Kirin as well.
Kirin's funny. He's probably fine.
Magispector has been getting some support, so it's probably fine.
This is one that as someone who ran it every chance I got in our progression series, I don't know. I don't like one won't do anything. One's not gonna do anything by itself. It'll probably be fine. It'll be like your fourth upstart goblin if you're really that down bad. That's it.
And there are a lot of cards coming out that are doing interesting things with cycling field spells, like actually encouraging you to play multiple field spells with different names. Like, I believe there's a Cosmo Queen Retrain the OCG just announced that is like blow up a field spell, search a field spell with a different name kind of a thing. Oh yeah, I'll dig her up on YG Organization. Yeah, they've announced a new Cosmo Queen Retrain. It's an effect spellcaster whose effect is like destroy a field spell summoner, but she's got all the same stats.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If we're trying to push field spell cycling, fuck it. Put Chicken Game at 1. It's like at any more than 1, it is a degenerate draw spell card.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're the first person to say this on ban list reacts.
Mm-hmm.
There will always be a critical mass of individual draw cards that just draw cards by themselves that will be a problem.
Yeah.
If they are just silly little one tricks as part of packages, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
They are fine.
Chicken Game at 1 probably doesn't break anything, but it's such a weird unlimit because it's the kind of thing that, like, we, the players, worry, which, admittedly, not always successfully. You know, hey, reminder, this was the Jan 1 list. It has now been 4 months. This is still allowed because Snatch Steal at 1 doesn't do anything, funnily enough. It's just a slightly more searchable, but also easily undoable change of heart.
It legitimately feels like, to me, every so often, Konami goes, you won't break this card if we bring it back.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they're right, and other times they are not.
Right. And sometimes it's the 2016 we put Snatch Steal to 1 and we banned it fucking immediately the next list.
Yeah. And I admit, we all said that about Snatch Steal this time. We were like, they're putting Snatch Steal to 1? This is going back in jail. That's fucking terrible. No. Hey, it turns out that Mikanko had an in-archetype Snatch Steal, and they weren't a meta deck. I know, wild. It's sad. Anti-Spell also to 1. Fucking, once again, Rip Bozo, good riddance. This card just tells you not to play Pendulums. Also, by the way, this hasn't been brought up a lot, but actually, this isn't probably as much of a hit as people think it is because I believe we're about to get Diabolese, the second Diabell Star type monster. She is just anti-spell.
My bad. It was 2015.
2015 was the Snatch Steal.
2015 January ban list. We said, let's put this to 1. I could go wrong, and we said nope, and we did not. It did not move again until just now.
But yeah, anti-spell to 1 is like adding anti-spell to basically the floodgate, banish zone. You can only run 1 copy of anti-spell fragrance. Goes in rivalry Teak-Boo. Like, yeah, if you just want to build your side deck floodgate package of those 4 bozos, sure. Yeah, like them putting these cards at 1. I disagree with, similar to the Baron and Savage bans, but I see what they're doing. They want to disincentivize. They want to they want to make sideboarding interesting, basically. Yeah, and I admit I think that's fair because, like, I mean, I know that's how I built some side decks during our Prog series. Was just like
I was the same way. Like,
it's like okay, I'm playing a deck that's mono attribute. Sure, we can run 3 goes and match in the side. Look, if my opponent's not on it.
Once we hit the Pend era, anybody who had it jammed the fuck out of 3 anti-spell on their side.
Yeah. No.
That was just how it went.
If you're not playing a Pend deck and the other guy is, they're fucked. That's also kind of why I think anti-spell the 1 was a long time coming, because like it does kind of turn off an entire mechanic in the game.
Yeah. As much as Konami may want to deny they made pendulums, they still make pendulum decks.
Yeah. And honestly, I think with Kieran to 1 and then putting anti-spell down, like, 1, you should be ready for Pendulum to be great again. But also, Konami, make Pendulums great again. It's been 10 years. If anybody is still butthurt over Pendulums after everything we've experienced in the meta since then, the entire Link era COVID format, the Tearlament meta, fuck them. They can quit because of Pendulums.
Yarman's weakest. Bring back Electromite.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know what Electromite's stats are like in Master Duel. I should check sometime. I don't actually know if that would be bad.
It is random pendulum decks just because it is a very good generic searcher.
Yeah.
And it adds consistency, but I do not think at this point that it's going to.
Yeah, I don't know if it adds enough consistency to like actually fuck over people. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah, like beyond the pendulum, I think it sucks. You have to play it. You have to because it's Electromite 2 and maybe 3 depending on your extra deck. But man, it's not good. Paying 1,200 life points, like 1,200 life points to add a pendulum spell, and you have to pendulum summon or your entire board's fucking negated, sucks ass. It hinders so much of your lines.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the semi-limit and the unlimits, which are also very spicy. So Armageddon Knight to 2. Konami is beta testing this because Isolde is now banned and should stay banned. So like, Isolde Summon Armageddon Knight was the reason why I think Arma was at 1. So now Konami is like testing the waters. I don't think putting it to 2 matters. They probably could have put it to 3 right away, but I understand why they were slow to do so.
Yeah, and this is the way they handle this is the way they handle cards that have a lot of power, like Armageddon Knight.
Yeah.
Like even if they think they could put it to 3, they wait. They put it to 2 just to I think it's a mentality of, if we put this card from 1 to 3 right away, everyone will flock to it.
Yeah.
So if we put it at 2, it will decrease the sudden hype build towards this powerful card that has just come back.
Also, speaking of, because we're going to talk about what these cards do later, but Sleepy Memory is still semi-limited, and Delicious Memory was previously limit 1 because they have a classic show 3 cards to your opponent move. They have a bingo machine go, basically. Anybody who's played those kind of cards know you just show your opponent 3 copies. So these cards being limited or semi-limited work so that you can't just show 3 of the same card and always get it.
Yeah, this is a consistency hit that I think is really good for the semi-limit list.
Yes. When your archetype has exactly that type of card, semi-limiting it seems fair. And honestly, as evidenced by the fact that Spare and Ty were talking about this before we got on live, I feel like Purrely has kind of gone under the radar lately, despite not being hit too hard on the ban list, because there are obviously a lot better decks. And I was saying, I don't think I've ever seen Purrely take off in Master Duel.
I was looking at deck list right before we started. I was looking at on YGO Pro Deck. I found several top 8 and 1 top 4 like regional Purrely deck. In from the past few weeks. So Purrely's still good.
Yeah. But I definitely think that I don't actually think this means they can necessarily consistently beat Fire King Snake Eye. So Konami's just okay, clearly you are, even if we do this, you're no longer gonna be at the top of the rock. We can just let you out. Oh, okay, they just got their cards in Master Duel. Okay.
It's a very powerful card, but they want them at 2 still just because of one of the cards in the archetype's mechanics. This is fine. This is good.
So on the one hand, the unlimited list, it's gonna look a little scary, but it also I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a base moment. So Mally to 3, baby.
Finally, I can open the 3 malicious 2 increase or whatever the fuck that other card I keep seeing in the meme is.
Yeah, Mally's back, baby. Technically, you've got 4 copies of Mally because they printed another guy.
4 copies of Mally now. It's so great.
This doesn't do anything. Dark Warrior is dead without Isolde. This doesn't do anything. It's just fucking hilarious. I love him.
It will be really funny for Hero Exactly, and maybe some weird dumbass warrior Warrior Brew.
If you can salvage Warrior Soup, Warrior Toolbox basically from the Isolde ban, and 3 Mally does it, go for it, buddy. More power to you. Speaking of the, I think our next 2 monsters are a very interesting case of the semi-limit philosophy. So Harp Horror just went from 1 to 3.
We put this card to 1 and said, all right, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, they literally nobody started playing Orcus with Harp Horror at 1. Konami was like, doesn't matter. But Terratop was previously, I think, last list bumped to 2 because they were like, is Terratop okay? And
Yeah,
Konami's like,
'cause,
okay, Terratop's all right. Terratop to 3.
Big surprise, guys. Speedboy was never good. Terratop is also one of the cards of the decks that I love, where people just went, oh hey, this guy's just like a free level. This is like just a free rank 3. We can just play him in anything.
And guess what? Terratop Make Dante is not meta anymore.
Yeah. Speedboy Terratop made PK Fire exist.
Yes. We no longer do that because PK Fire, doesn't work. Phantom Knight's Burning Abyss is not valid.
It does in fact make goblins funnier because you now have the 3-line for goblins.
The Big Gabonga. Which I love. Also, I would not be surprised if Konami also didn't do that push exactly for Goblin Riders because, in case you guys forget, we haven't done that lore deep dive, but Goblin Bikers are part of Sinful Spoils. They're like the level 1 guys who are Harshan Diabelstar's Buzz. So, like, they're part of our current, narrative push. And obviously, I think they're pretty fun and good. I've seen some of the lines already. They're not as good as Snake Eye. So, Konami being like, okay, you can have 3 Terratops as a treat. It works. And then our last one. It finally happened. Engage 2-3.
Sky Striker Ray.
I would die for Ray, etc. I wouldn't actually die for Ray, but this is
Ray's
wild.
pretty okay.
Because on the one hand, I feel like many of us were digging in our heels, like, please don't put Engage to 3, please don't put Engage to 3. They put Upstart Goblin to 3, like, also last list or 2 lists ago. I don't actually think that's been affecting deck building.
Look, like, you can play 3 Upstart Chicken Game, 3 Engage, whatever, like, 3 Pot of Desires or whatever the fuck.
If you can do that through Droll.
Yeah.
Droll's a very popular side deck right now.
You are still unfortunately going to get rolled.
Also, hey, Colossus exists now too, so good luck with that one. Yeah, no. So like, it's so funny to be like, on the one hand, you want to talk about power formats, right? We are just now seeing Konami go, you know what? Toss format was pretty cool. I think we can let everybody out of jail. Like, I think Salad is finally back to full power after being on the ban list for quite a while. Thunder Dragon, back. Sky Striker, back. Orcust, back. Does it do anything?
Probably not.
I mean, I'd love to see some people make Toss retro decks work. That would be really neat. I don't think it's actually going to change the meta. Out of those, your best bet would probably be to try and figure out if you can kit bash Salad and Snake Eyes. Even then,
I think that could be an interesting concept at the very least, but I don't think it'll be any better than pure Snake Eyes.
I mean, it probably won't be better than pure Snake Eyes. I mean, you can run Almirage as probably a substitute for the Link Karibo. What's the requirements on is Balinx one salad monster, one salmon grate?
How the fuck do you spell Balinx?
Oh, I don't know, man.
All right, I'm just gonna go to the Salmon grades.
I don't
Balinx is 1 level 4 lower Cyber monster.
Okay, so that won't work as a Link 1 generic, but see, this is a case
Almirage is 1 normal summoner set monster with 1,000 or less attack, which I think could get a fair bit of shit.
Yeah,
right?
that's probably workable in a few of the decks. Just eats your normal, but yeah. So that's the list. It's an interesting one. We'll be seeing soon. I do kind of want to say that, like, I do kind of agree with, in general, a lot of people have complained about the way Konami has been releasing these ban lists. So this list was announced but did not go into effect until after a YCS Guadalajara, and will be in effect for Raleigh, which is this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, that's also weird. That's...
which is also double weird because Konami explicitly said, hey, EU, you have an extra week. This won't go in effect until the 20-something for that event. So, like, Konami, you could have just put it 2 weeks away. I do wonder if, like, because literally anytime Konami posted anything on social media, people were in their fucking replies asking where the ban list is. So, like, yeah, I can understand them trying to, like, get ahead of things. You still could have previewed this on Twitter and said it doesn't go in effect until after Raleigh. You could have given people 2 weeks to prep.
Yeah, it's just a touch bizarre that knowing that there are events happening elsewhere, that they only set it to one event. Like if they could have just set it to after all these events were over.
So
it's bizarre.
It's a weird one, but Konami has always had that kind of weirdness with ban list times. Like I was literally calling my shot last Tuesday. I'm like, hey, YCS Guadalajara is this weekend. It will be either immediately before or during this weekend they will announce the ban list. Hey, what do? Somebody pick up that phone. Because that's I don't know why Konami does that. Maybe it's because that's when their fucking social media intern is logged in, but that's when they do it. So we're here. It's an interesting one. Loth is finally booting up, yes. So we're gonna look at some other stuff. Let's do our own new cards PogChamp, because this is another card which has gotten people all afluster.
We are under the sea now.
Yes. So this is a widdle guy. You've probably seen him on Twitter.com, X.com.
He is just a funny little dude.
Look at him. He's adorable. Or she. Or they. I don't know. It's a jellyfish. Who cares? They, them jellyfish. Yeah, Jelly Sea, I think, is a good one I've seen. Min Sea is, I believe, what MBT said.
I like Under the Sea.
Yeah. If only because people don't want to say Mulchumi Purrely.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird archetype name.
But and yes, it is an archetype name. But yeah, this is a card they've announced for Infinite Forbidden. So this is a level 4 Aqua effect monster. The fact that this is level 4 and is like 100 attack, 600 defense. Either we're trying to dodge some kind of like lower than level 4 Aqua searching, or this is an Xyz archetype. But this card says, during the turn you activate this card's effect, you can only activate one multi-chummy monster effect, not counting this card, so it is clearly supposed to be an archetype. There will be more of these, because otherwise this effect text doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But 1, if you control no cards, quick effect, discard this card, apply these effects for the rest of this turn. Each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster from the hand, immediately draw 1 card.
Oh, hey, I don't think this is why they're doing it, but there is, in fact, a normal summon search at a level 3 water monster from your deck to your hand in the game.
Yeah, that would... this requires you to control no cards, so that's probably not it, but it is one of those things where, like, there may be some searching and stuff they're trying to avoid. Or, like I said, it's an Xyz archetype. Technically...
They found a way to make it hard to generically search.
Water Xyz already is a rank 4 strategy, so this does kind of go in there. If nothing else, it's another guy you can summon if you don't activate it. But primarily, it basically does what Max C does, but a little different. It applies to normal or special summons, Flu and Shambles. But it's only from the hand. Decks that summon from graveyard are immune. Also, doesn't count extra deck summons, which is interesting. Also, during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the sum of cards your opponent controls plus 6, shuffle random cards from your hand into the deck until equal to that sum.
That exact effect could be incorrectly translated.
Yeah, they have a TL note, which I think I've scrolled down a little. Basically, this is the first card that refers to a sum and a fixed number. So they talk about, like, the difference. And apparently to both native Japanese speakers and also English speakers, the way they use the difference is ambiguous. So you're probably going to have to wait until rulings or an official translation. So, like, there's a little bit of ways you could parse it. But I think the key part they've said here is the card doesn't punish hoarding such as it has the difference matter. Like, you can draw as many cards. Like, it's not necessarily punishing you for drawing a lot of extra cards. It is meant to kick in if your opponent controls a lot less cards than you have.
Put it this way, don't be a Nexaton range.
Yeah. And
think of it like that.
Like, some people are like, oh no, what if you have to shuffle back your starting hand? You'll never have to shuffle back your starting hand. You're already going down 1 card. It clearly does include the phrase +6. So, like, no matter what, you're probably ending with a full grip. You're still ending with your starting hand. You just might have some different shit in there. Which also, by the way, means this card is kind of a mulligan. You randomly shuffle back.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this card is great for the game. This is a very healthy card. This is literally what people said a fair version of Max C would be. It accomplishes the same effect where your opponent, when they are under Purrely, has to go to themselves, ooh boy, how much normal summoning or summoning from the hand am I gonna do? Well, what am I gonna get in there?
If you're not named Flunder, you will probably be fine.
Yeah. There are some decks that do a lot of summoning from hand. So we're gonna see. I think the main thing is just that, like, I agree with a lot of people saying that, like, I don't think you can have this card and Max C in the same game because you could activate both. You can do both effects. Admittedly, that means you're probably going to have to shuffle back a lot of cards, but, like, you can mill through your deck very fast.
If this card gets Max C hinted on principle, I will already love it.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
So I feel like this has to be the prelude to an OCG and hopefully, fingers crossed, a Master Duel maxi limit or ban. If they allow both of these cards to coexist at the same time, that's crazy because, like, if nothing else, you could go, okay, Chain Link 1, Max C. Your opponent goes, not so fast, cross out. And you're like, cool. Quick effect, CL3, multi-chummy. Like, or you do it the other way. Chain Link 1, multi-chummy. Your opponent's like, shit, I guess I'll called by that. They're like, haha, I had the Max C. So, like, it does not see... I don't want to give Konami, especially the OCG, too much credit. Not necessarily offense meant to the OCG. I just know that, like, the way they structure the ban list, they have different priorities over there. And the Master Duel ban list priority is absolutely upside down, but that's a different argument.
We've also stopped getting much justification from the OCG ban list recently. Like, so. it used to be, like, it's a very infamous quote that we joke about a lot with a card like VFD, where the OCG decided, instead of banning VFD from 3, when it was definitely a problem card, put it to 1 because they wanted players who still enjoy that playstyle to have a deck.
Yeah, the OCG, and I've heard this argument spun around the recent semi-limit of Little Knight in the OCG, because she's gone to 2. Hypothetically, you could go for 3, but usually 2 is the max copies. I've heard people say that, like, because of the way the OCG works, this is a telegraph. This is the OCG telling its players, who are a very integral part of their market because they, go to the locals, they go to stores and stuff. Hey, you guys need to be aware. We're thinking of hitting this card to 1. So, don't buy any extra expensive copies. Maybe get prepared to go down to 1 copy, kind of a thing, to let them know ahead of time. I could totally see that being the OCG's approach to, like, let you know with soft bans first that they are looking at these cards and will likely make them go lower, but doing it in such a graduated way that they don't, like, spook their players.
Yeah,
whereas the TCG is fucking does not care. They are like, okay, oh, what's that? You guys need Agito to die? He's dead. Agito, never heard of him. You liked playing him? Fuck you.
I can see it just being a general, like, we're just saying in such a wide span case, but like a more cultural difference of the communities, where the OCG, like, just, Japanese culture in general just has that more polite, like, formal tone or some shit. I'm blanking on the words.
Yeah, polite's the right way. Yeah, they there is a certain amount of expected politeness to be going on in there. And
it's a more formal, methodical pace of hitting cards to alert the players.
Yeah.
Now, like, it couldn't even be, like, intentional. It's just the way it works. But people can read those signs.
Yes.
The CCG says, "Oh, this guy's a problem. Get the fuck out of here." No, get that, kill it.
Okay, you guys have been complaining about Mystic Mine for 2 years. Zero, get him out of here.
Yeah, and one more general ban list talk. a very infamous one is when the TCG and OCG ban lists were combined and we weren't separated.
Yeah.
The TCG saw the wind up hand loop, brought it to OCG and said, "Hey, this is bad." And the OCG went, "What's the problem? I don't get it. Like, how is, like why would you hand loop your opponent? What do you mean?"
And here we are.
Yeah.
And I do kind of feel like maybe that is some of the methodology between like how like as a tournament rule, surrendering is not part of the OCG's rules generally. Like they've added some allowances for part of it, especially because like I think like Japanese like audience members and shareholders have actually been raising this to Konami and have been like, hey, guys, if we want you want the product to be relevant in our modern time, there's a lot of stuff like streaming and you know, like showcasing going on. It's no fun to the player and the audience if they know one guy has lost and he has to play out the game until time. And so the OCG was like, you're correct. We will allow surrendering in certain situations. But like, if like, the fact that, like, your opponent is kind of stuck in there with you, if the fact that the generally, like, Japanese attitude is to be more polite, that, like, you don't necessarily do that to your opponent in the same way because you would not want to be put in that embarrassing situation. Whereas in the TCG, Yu-Gi-Oh's fucking MMA. They're like, okay, you've got a choice. I'm going to break your elbow or you're going to tap out. What are you going to do? Most people don't go, take my elbows, brah. Though I have heard some people joking about the Trident Dragion thing earlier, like, no, you're not going to fake me out. I won't scoop until I see the Trident Dragion. But, like, in the TCG, it's definitely more of a, like, I'm going to play this until I put you in an unwinnable game state or you tap. So, you know, are you going to tap out? And that, I think, leads to some different, you know, cases of wins and play rates with cards. But I have one more bit of news for now to yoinkle. We've finally seen it. The second half of Ashened.
I haven't read these cards yet.
Yeah, this just dropped today, so we're going to read these out. First of all, we've got some main deck monsters. Let me actually pull up our bigger images so you can see them. Shaman of the Ashen City has tits. So, you know, nice. Get ready for that one. Also, nice. Got some weird little skull guys with her. That's cool. Like those guys. She is a level 4 Dark Pyro, 13-12. If Obsidian is in your field zone, you can special summon it from your hand. You can only special summon her once per turn this way. You can target 3 of your Pyro monsters that are banished and or in your graveyard. Shuffle them back. If you shuffled an Ashen monster, add an Obsidian from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, a decent recovery tool. This deck actually does some banishing. So it lets you just recover and recycle your field spell.
That's a really good starter for turn 2 or turn 3.
And then Spearhead of the Ashen City. He's got a spear. He's another level 4. He's got 1700 attack, 100 defense. If Obsidian, the Ashen City... This does, by the way, mean, though, that I believe they have 3 level 4s, so we are unlocking rank 4 strategies, because a lot of these guys are free specials. Okay. If Obsidian is in your field zone, you can special summon this card. You can only special summon him once per turn this way. If your opponent controls a monster with 2800 or more attack, which does include giving your opponent Vados, that's a thing you can do, don't forget. You can tribute this card, target one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. You don't use this effect of Spearhead once per turn.
That seems funny.
Yeah, he's an interesting situational bounce.
I don't think he's great, but he's funny.
Yeah, gives you another tool in the toolbox. Neither of these are super great. They just give you more bodies and give you more tools. Next, we have Fusion Vados. This guy was like shown in German earlier, but we've got him. He's blue now. He's Mega Vados.
Oh, shit.
A Pyro Fusion monster. He's level 12? Yeah, I can count. It's 12 or 11. It's a lot of levels. So he does require Vados and 2 or more level 9 or lower Pyros. Can't be destroyed by card effects. Also, your opponent can't target it with monster effects. If this card is fusion summoned, destroy all spell traps your opponent controls.
Funny.
So he's a, well, what's that one prank kid? Was that Weather Washer?
I don't
spell
remember
traps. One of them was the wind one was there. When your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, quick effect, send a face-up Ashen you control to the graveyard, destroy that card. You can only use this effective Vados once per turn. So not a negate, but an interrupt. This is honestly okay for a boss monster. He's kind of a towers. He's indestructible and not targeted with monster effects, which means he's immune to shit like Valor. I'm
already getting the sense that these new cards are going to blow my mind, but they're not bad cards.
No, I made the joke earlier. They're okay. The Ashen, I think Ashen has potential as like a generic Pyro deck, for like the first time ever. This guy's just Vados plus Pyros, you know? If there's any kind of fusion in Grave with Pyros, this is super easy to make, and I think one of their spell traps later might allow you to do that. So, like, that's cool. And honestly, Vados is not a bad guy. Like I said, he's semi-towers. He is a Feather Duster when fusion summoned. Like, just blows up their spell traps. And while not a negate, he is an interruption. It's very, a very funny form of interruption. We also have, our Lord of Embers type guy, the Soul Kindling Man, Embers of the Ashen. This is a level 9 Pyro Fusion. He is, not completely, but semi-generic. Just any 2 Pyro monsters makes this guy. If this card is fusion summoned, target a field spell in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. Once again, kind of encouraging some of our field spell shenanigans. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's Pyro monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. And if it's your turn, this card can make a second attack. You can only use the effect of Embers of the Ashen once per turn. So very clearly supposed to be proccing Vados. You summon Vados to your opponent's side. You run it over with Embers. You can make a second attack. Honestly, still like very situational. This is very much part of the engine. It's not really good outside of the Ashen engine, even though it is mostly generic. I was kind of disappointed by their monster lineup, but I think actually some of their spell traps might be going places. We got a quick play, Rekindling of the Ashen. Place one of your Ashen cards that's in your graveyard or banished on the bottom of your main deck, except Rekindling. Target effect monster your opponent controls, negate until the end of this turn. So just put back one of your guys is a negate. You can only Rekindling once per turn. Oh, yeah, the field spell does make your opponent's Pyro, so yeah, it's part of the engine. It does make Super Poly valid. That's true. So the deck can now play Super Poly, which is good. Though your monsters are all dark, so you could probably already play Super Poly and go into Starving Venom. Now you just have a reason to. So Rekindling seems pretty good, though. It's a targeted negate, and it lets you stack back your guys. We also have a normal spell, Extinguishing the Ashened. Add or send a Dark Pyro monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's your entire deck. Also, like, I think there's an Evil Storm that's a Dark Pyro, I think.
I believe there was.
Yeah, I think there was like 1 or 2 Dark Pyros that are not Ashened, so very targeted effect here. But send a Dark Pyro from your deck to the graveyard, then you can add a level 5 or higher Pyro monster.
There are 2 Evil Swarm Dark Pyros and a Centurion that is a Dark Pyro.
Yeah, you're not running Centurion in this, Sag. But yeah, then you can add a level 5 or higher Pyro monster from your graveyard to your hand, so you can just recycle your big guys. For the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you can't summon them from the extra deck except Pyro. That's not as bad of a condition now that you have 2... Actually, was the Vados Fusion a Pyro? He was, okay.
Yes.
I had to double check. These cards are still not in their mind. So yeah, this card is Foolish Burial, and then if you did a large Pyro monster, you just add it to your hand, so it's just a Searcher. But also, this is your Fusion spell. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Fusion summon 1 Pyro Fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. You can only use each effective extinguishing once per turn, not and only one that turn. So this card instantly Foolishes, adds to hand, and can then immediately be banished to Fusion summon.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty solid for an archetypal fusion spell.
Yeah, I take back what I said about your turn 3 setup. You could instantly turn 1 Shaman too. With this kind of shit.
You're dumping a lot of cards. So there's room there. And then they got one more trap. They have a continuous trap, Ashened to Endlessness. During the main phase, So yeah, it's one of those. But during the main phase, you can fusion zone a Pyro from your extra deck using monsters on either field's material. So hey, guess what? They are already Super Poly, including Vados, so it has to be the Vados fusion only. But
okay,
they just have a continuous trap card that is it. And if you do, it gains 500 attack for each material used. Remember, the Vados fusion is 2+ Pyros, and he's already 3K. So if you make it with Ashen to Endless, you are possibly Super Polying your opponent's entire board. You're blowing up all of their spell traps, and he's at least 4,500. Indestructible, non-targetable monster effects. You can banish this card and one Dark Pyro monster from your graveyard. All monsters your opponent currently controls become Pyro until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. So if you send it to your graveyard, also, it's fucking Clockwork Knights or DNA Surgery. So you can make all your opponent's monsters Pyro, so you can super poly them anyway. This deck actually might have some room as, I think we were saying this with Vados and the field spell anyway, this deck might actually have some room as an anti-meta strategy.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I don't think it's good on its own, but your ability to make all your opponent's monsters Pyros a couple different ways, you have 2 decent Super Poly targets, your in-archetype trap is already Super Poly, you know, your fusion spell is also attached to your Foolish Burial. Like, this is pretty all right. They've got an in-archetype negate with Rekindling. Like, there's some room. I need to double-check what the first wave of cards are like, but I think there's enough here to build an Ashen deck. I still think I don't know if there's enough Pyro extra deck monsters to make this work. Like, I don't know if there are any generic Pyro fusions besides the 2 new Ashen guys.
I recall there being a few. I'm trying.
But there's some interesting stuff going on here. So, like I said, I don't think they're gonna jump to the meta, but they have some room.
There really isn't, unless you want to count Blaze Phoenix.
Yeah, which still requires a machine.
Yeah, so like, would be a targeted anti-meta pick, but I don't think there's machines right now anyways.
Yeah. But I just wanted to bring this up because I mentioned it earlier. But yeah, this is pulled up on the stream, our Cosmo Queen retrain. This is for Infinite Forbidden. Joe, Cosmo Queen. Cosmo Queen, the Queen of Prayers. Please, I know it doesn't make sense, but please TCG calls this Cosmo Queen, Queen of Cosmos.
Please.
Please do that for me, thank you. It is actually related to, like, Cosmo Queen's Prayer, which is an old video game card, but she's a dark spellcaster. She's got Cosmo Queen's stat line. If a field spell is activated, you can special summon this card from a hand in defense position. You can target a card in the field zone, activate this effect based on its controller. If you control that field spell, destroy it, add a field spell with a different name for your hand. So this is what I was talking about. She is a field spell cycler. If it's your opponent, negate that field spell until the end of this turn and add a field spell from your deck to your hand. Fuck you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I think we're going to have some room for some dark spellcaster and illusion like goo decks. I think we got some room for her in there as more generic field spell hate. Alternatively, she's a dark. She's not a pyro, but you know you make monsters pyros, so like you could tech this into Ashen. You like field spells, but yeah, like I said, Ashen is in a really interesting place. I don't think they're necessarily bad, but they're not super good either. Definitely, like, I feel like people got really high on the copium on that first wave that, like, because they're Dark Souls-y, they're going to be really good. I think they got to play. They're decent. We'll see if they can cut it in the meta.
It definitely feels like... It feels like there is some potential in there, but I can't quite grasp where it's going.
Yeah, I hope that when Master Duel brings them out, they bring them all out in, like, a selection pack, like, all at once, both waves, so you don't have to wait. I could see myself trying a brew to see what it's like, and I might throw some decks together in, like, EDO to see as well, because I tried to make, like, the first wave work, and my opinion on the first wave of Ashen was, it's an engine, it spins its wheels a lot, it doesn't actually do anything without, like, knowing that you're hitting guys who have a field spell. Power King! So, like, also, hey, Tenpai Dragon, also a field spell deck. Gimmick Puppet, field spell deck. like there's a lot of field spells going on. So like I think Ashen will have its place. Your problem is going to be that unlike Tenpai, Tenpai is going to be way cheaper to play than Ashen. If only because also assholes are going to like upcharge Ashen just because it looks cool. Look at Warrock.
Yeah.
It's going to be a weird one, but I think there's potential there. All right, so let me switch back finally to Paint. Took about an hour to talk about the ban list and new cards PogChamp. I believe that Both will be with us sometime. He's managed to put himself in chat, probably on his phone while he's getting all his stuff in order. But, you know, we live in interesting times in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zone. But let's talk about Purrely. So Purrely is our first archetype from deck build pack Amazing Defenders. That contains Mikanko, Purrely, and Rescue Ace. So fairly recent. We're coming towards the tail end of deck build packs for now. We are January of 2023. Also, yeah, actually, I just realized they haven't announced another deck build pack yet. That's weird. Last one was Valiant Smashers. That was Memento, Valmonica, and Centurion. Or should I say it Center Ion, chat, because there's a dash in it.
I'm still not sure.
I'm going to say it's Centurion. But, you know, there's only a few of these sets left. But there's a lot of cards in them to talk about. Purrely is a deck of Widdle guys. The aesthetics, I would say, are very Evolution-esque.
Yes.
You know, our core player here is the Purrely itself. There he is.
And its buddy, Purrely?
Purrely.
Sure.
Purrely? I don't actually know.
Purrely?
The way this is, Purrely is pretty directly translated from the OCG. It's Purrely. You know, so, it's probably a combination of Purr and Fairy. Because these monsters are Fairy, funnily enough. This is an angel. This Widdle Angel. Yeah, just added as a mate and master duel. So, like I said, definitely a little bit EV coded here. Because you've got a little cat, dog, fox, rabbit thing. You know? He's got Widdle paws.
There's a lot.
He's got a big fluffy tail.
It has a lot of very just cutesy, fluffy features.
Yes.
You know?
No, they're just like, what features from every fluffy Widdle animal can we add? So it's got, like, wings on its cheeks. It's got, like, a little fur ruff. He's got little pauses. Big ears, all this stuff. It is kind of like Foe. Especially because I'm pretty sure there is some dialogue in part 1 with Foe. It's just like, what the fuck is Foe anyway? What are you? Are you a cat? A dog? A rat? Foe just stares at us. We do have a little bit of Purrely lore. They were in Valuable Book EX3, same as Runix. Basically, the Purrelys are in a town. There are multiple of them. They are pluralized. Their Purrelys are little animals, quote-unquote, adorable creatures that look like they come out of a fairy tale. They are usually, by the way, to put Purrely to scale, they are usually 30 to 40 centimeters tall, so between 11 to 16 inches, and weigh 2 or 3 kilos, which is about 4.5 to 6.5 pounds. Literally about the same as a small dog. They have friendly and mild personalities. So, Purrelys are just weird fairy tale creatures that live they grow alongside little boys and girls. When they grow up, when they live with people, they grow up. When they grow up, they basically become the size of a medium-sized dog. their attitudes don't change, but depending on how they were raised, they develop distinct features. And eventually, their biggest forms, so it goes Purrely, E-Purrely, X-Purrely. The X-Purrleys are big enough. They're big dog size. They are large enough that children can ride on them. They try to play with the exact same behavior as they had as pupped, but, the people they live with can burn a lot of stamina. So it's a literal fucking Pokemon evolution.
The perfect lapdog.
You start very small, and then you become medium, and then you become big.
Very big.
Yes.
Also, hello.
Yes, Sloth's here now. His computer is finally fired up. Mi amigo. Also, yeah, I titled the stream Mi Amigo Purrely. I just heard MBT say that so many times in like 10-minute testing for my friend Purrely that it just stuck with me. I think it's very funny to just call it Mi Amigo. Because there is literally a card in this deck called My Friend Purrely. But yeah, Purrelys are just little guys. They grow up. When they grow up, they become, special ones. Other than that, you have the light-colored one and the dark-colored one. There's no other distinct versions. So we're just kind of chilling. And here's the original. Once again, very much, a basic Pokemon-looking ass. I'm honestly kind of surprised that it took them so long to put him in Master Duel as a mate. I guess it's because they did just add, their last card. This little guy is marketable as hell. This is a series mascot. This is the kind of, new Pokemon in a generation that comes out with, 5 pieces of merch and is featured on an NPC and is in the anime, and you would, people are going to kill you for Purrely merch.
Which reminds me, thank you, I need to log on to Master Duel and see if I can get the mate.
Yeah, he's in there. If you got the gems. Hey, also, by the way, Loth, spoilers, you're going to want to grind out the new event. It's the Team Fusion, Team Synchro, Team Xyz event. If you get, I think it's 4,000 medals in any team, because those are all cumulative, you get Zark sleeves.
Okay.
The pre-mates, by the way, because they've got 3 for each different team, they're actually pretty good. I'm going to be repping Team Fusion. Among other, they've got dual avatar, lame. But their other 2 loner decks are Dark Worlds and Chimera Fusion. So we're cooking, chat.
Yo, just like what Cyrus Truesdale used to.
I've seen that clip, yes. But yeah, Purrely is a marketable little guy. I mean, I have to say the meme. I've only had Purrely for a day, and if anything were to happen to him, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself in-game.
Look at his adorable little toe beans.
Yeah, no, he's got little paw pads. You want to touch him.
Yeah, they have every single, cute feature just tacked on. They didn't stop.
Big eyes, whittle nose, big ears, fluffy tail, fluffy ruff, little paws.
Fluffy whisker things?
Yeah. Got some little feathery whiskers. He's a fantasy creature. Give me the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! / Final Fantasy 14 collab with Purrely mount. Or, not Purrely mount, Purrely minion. X-Purrely Noir would be the mount.
Too much time on the internet. My mind immediately thinks of, someone throwing a plush of him into a wall.
I mean, you'd get some haters, but he is just so cute. Purrely is a light fairy level 1. I say he because technically Purrely isn't gendered. They are like a species, so I assume they can be male or female. But he just seems like a whittle guy, He's Mi Amigo.
Omega, the gender is Purrely.
Actually, let me double check. Are these? Is the grammar gendered in languages that have gendered nouns? I don't know. I should check. Check him also, maybe let me know. But yeah, so Purrely is a level 1 fairy, 100 attack, 100 defense, just a little baby. If this card is normal or special summon, excavate top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, add a Purrely spell trap to your hand. Place the rest of your cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Once returned during your main phase, you can reveal a Purrely quick play spell in hand. Special summon a Xyz monster from your extra deck that mentions that card using this material you control as material and attach the revealed card to the summoned monster. This is treated as an Xyz summon. So this is their mechanic. Purrely is a deck that only has 2 main deck monsters, Purrely and Purrely. But they have several Xyz monsters with different ranks. While I believe some of them are generic and you can hard make them if you were playing, non-archetype cards, the primary thing is through Purrely's effect, you can reveal a quick play, summon a guy, attach materials. So it's all perfectly fine. And yeah, it's just, hey, I got a level 1 starter. Normal to or specialed. You can excavate 3, add a Purrely card. You can reveal a card to make a guy. It's just that simple. And then let me pull up Purrely. Yeah, saying it Purrely is probably correct. In the OCG, this guy's name was Purrely, so Purrely Lily.
Okay.
Why is it Lily when it's the like dark one? I don't know. You'd think the lightly colored one would be the Lily, but here it is. Once again, just a widdle guy.
Oh!
Big ears, big tail, big eyes.
He's the Umbreon to Purrely's Espeon.
Yeah, basically. Or the Lopmon to Terriermon.
Oh, speaking of which, got some cute things to show you, Amigo.
Oh, joy. I'm gonna be fucking side blasted.
I know,
Ugh.
right?
Sorry, I didn't go ugh at Loth. That's me stretching out. It's warm in here. Gonna have to open a window. But, yeah. So Purrely was released later. It was added in Cyberstorm Access, which I think was the next set after. This is a Dark Fairy level 1, 100/100. It's literally just Purrely, but dark. So Purrely says if this card is normal or special, you can add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand, except a quick play. So you can't add your quick plays, but you can add your other spells. They do have a field spell and a continuous, and I think they have some normal spells, maybe. Also, this can be used to search Purrely itself, the monster, Purrely. You can target a Purrely quick play spell in your graveyard, special summon an Xyz monster from your extra deck that mentions that card. Using this card, you control as material. Attach that spell to the summoned monster. This is treated as an Xyz summon. You can only use each effective Purrely once per turn. So Lily lets you search non-quick play spells. Also lets you use quick play spells in your graveyard to set up your Xyz plays. A very good addition to the deck. I'm gonna be honest. While this deck probably wants maybe some more main deck names, I don't really know necessarily what you'd be doing. Like, obviously, you can include new quick play spells and new Xyz monsters as a way to, like, broaden the deck out, but I don't know what other kind of little Purrelys you'd include. I mean, you know, you got room for, like, different attributes and stuff, but I don't know how you would do their attach effect, other than maybe, like, reveal a Purrely monster in your extra deck and make this card and another monster you control the same level as its rank or something, so you can actually Xyz them the other way. I don't know. But it's an interesting space, because they're doing some very unique stuff here. Which I'm always a fan if I read a Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype and it's like, oh, let's just do something new. That's good. I always love to see it. So, let's see. We'll probably be... I've got these listed out separately. We're probably going to do these in kind of a tandem. I'll show the Xyz monster and the spell that mentions the quick play. Because, like, doing one without the other is a little weird. So, let me sit up in my chair.
So I just want to point out, so because I haven't logged in a while, like, oh hey, free packs for you. I got the greatest Mikanko card, Grand Ball.
Ha! I mean, kinda.
Also, yeah, I posted the thing I wanted to show you in the favorite trailer.
Yes, I see it. Thank you. That is adorable. All right. Go. So we're going to pull up Beauty. And Beauty mentions Pretty Memory, so we're going to also pull up Pretty Memory.
Jesus Christ.
In case you
This
can't
is
tell,
our-
Beauty is the water one.
Yeah, this is our ice fairy.
Discount Espeon. Not Espeon, fucking Glaceon. What am I thinking?
Yeah, it's crystally. It's got some ice. Sorry. For some reason, Wikipedia is loading very slowly. There we go. Also, I will say I like this effect that you can see a lot better with this, but you notice how these cards are slightly like punched in. Every Purrely card, oh, I think almost every Purrely card, but most of them have a border like they're a little picture.
Yeah, like it's its own specific card game.
Yeah, so like, the actual monsters look a little bit like phone icons, but the way that the memories are framed, it's like they're square pictures in a scrapbook. It could be that Purrely Lily is female. That's why it's Lily. Not sure. The flying type evolution that never was. Yo, Tornadion, call it, do it. But yeah, I think that this is a pretty easy to tell what's going on here. You know, Purrely Pretty Memory is a Purrely that gets, you know, bathed and groomed and splashed a lot, and it becomes an Purrely Beauty, which is, you know, cool and blue and has soap bubbles for a tail.
I can't get over how adorable Purrely is just in that little bucket.
Yeah, no, the artist is having a lot of fun here. So, which effect do you want me to read? Well, which card, I should say, do you want me to read first? Pretty Memory or Beauty?
I'm
We should
not
probably
sure.
go- We should probably go spell card into Xyz.
Yeah,
Okay.
that probably works.
It's true, because Beauty does mention that it's got, if it has Pretty Memory as material, you do it. So, Purrely Pretty Memory is a quick play spell card. It says, each player gains 1,000 life points, and then you can apply the following effect. Discard a card. If you do, special summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. So you can make it so everybody gains LP, and you can use it to just fetch Purrely from either Purrely, by the way, from your deck, because they're both level 1s. And a Purrely Xyz monster that has this card as material gains the following effect. Once per turn, you can send one other card you control to the graveyard, target a card your opponent controls, attach it to this card as material. So you have to sack a card you control to do it, but you can just suck up opponent's monsters. Consume them. And Purrely Beauty gets this as, you know, gets that effect if it's attached to it. So Beauty is a water fairy level rank 2. 1600 attack, 1100 defense. It is technically a generic Xyz. It just says 2 level 2 monsters. Soft once per turn. Target an effect monster opponent controls. Negate it until the end of this turn. If you have Pretty Memory as material, that's a quick effect. So it is a quick effect negate. And also, like I said, the Pretty Memory's effect is to attach a monster as material by sending another card you control. Up to thrice per turn, when you activate a Purrely quick play spell card, as a quick effect, you can attach that card on the field to this card as material, and then change the battle position of one monster your opponent controls. So it just gets to give itself more materials.
Yeah, the deck is pretty flexible.
Yeah. So overall, pretty fun. Pretty Memory is, you know, a great starter. Lets you get out your guys, and then also, you know, if you attach it or reveal it, you can, you know, summon Beauty. Beauty's not super strong, but it is a quick effect targeted negation, and is able to, like, actually also get you, you know, additional stuff by, like, attaching just sucking up monsters. So it's a form of removal. So I don't know why, but Yugipedia is being very slow, so bear with me while I use it to pull up assets.
Yeah, the Purrely deck is weird. Where we were talking about it earlier. In a competitive sense, the deck has already, like we already mentioned, like the deck's always kind of been there. In Master Duel, I feel like it never really, like it just kind of it felt like it had its stance and just kind of fell off in Master Duel.
Yeah, I will say some of it has to do with the way Master Duel does releases. Like, a Master Duel is unfortunate in that I kind of don't like how they do, like, a lot of stuff with Dust. I feel like they overinflate the rarities of a lot of cards. Like, half the cards that are new in a selection pack are going to be Ultras. Also, yeah, and by the way, I'm experiencing a timeout error on the Wikipedia, so...
No.
We may experience some sluggishness. I have other ways to, like, hunt for stuff, but we may be a little slow in, like, pulling up cards and effects. I can grab happiness in a larger form off the internet, though. Well, we've got some sluggishness. But yeah, I think it may have been that just Master Duel like cycled onto other other selection packs, and I think they only just now got a Purrely themed secret pack.
Yeah. I got to open a free pack with that.
Yeah.
It also
yeah,
comes
the
with
E-Purrely Noir also just came out and was added to that secret pack. So like, they had a very slow burn in MD. They were a known quantity, and I think some of their cards did see the list. But I think that just that their rate of cards releasing to their cards rotating out of selection packs didn't come, and other selection packs have been huge bangers. You've had the Fire Pack, the other Fire Pack. Now you have the Illusion and Chimera Pack, and so on and so forth. So like, there's a lot of these things going on. But yeah, this is E-Purrely Happiness, by the way. And it is associated with Purrely Happy Memory.
Yeah, this is our I don't fucking remember the evolutions now I think about it.
I mean, honestly, this one's just kind of the generic one. I believe this one does get to go to X Purrely, so it is maybe a little bit like Sylveon, the fairy one. But it could also be just like
I was trying to remember what the fairy one was called.
Yeah, it's Sylveon. It could also just be like Espeon or just anyone, because it's just kind of like there. And its happy memory is Purrely plays with a ball. If you want to know how we feel about the ban list, go back to the start, because we talked about new cards in ban list for like an hour. So if you're watching live and you missed that stuff, you can fire up the VOD when we're out of here. So Happy Memory is a quick play that says choose a card on the field, and once until the end of next turn, it can't be destroyed by card effect, so it's a one-time destruction protection. Then you can discard one card. If you do, special summon a level 1 Purrely from your deck. So, still a pretty good fetch effect, but also lets you just give you a protection blank. If it's attached to a Purrely Xyz monster, that card gains the effect that it can attack monsters up to a number of times each battle phase, equal to the number of Happy Memory attached to it plus 1. So it gets extra attacks. And Happiness is another generic level 2 Light Fairy. At the end of the damage step, if this card battles, add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand. If this card has Happy Memory as material, you can have the attack of one monster on the field. Up to thrice per turn, you can, when you activate a Purrely quick play spell card, you can attach it. Also, very important, because Beauty was a pretty, it's a rank 2, so it's not got super high stats. It was like 16. E-Purrely Happiness is a rank 2 that is 2,000 attack, 100 defense. So with its ability to have attack once per turn and gain extra attacks, you know, like it's got some room to actually use it to clear up some stuff.
It can pretty handedly clear some boards, even though it may not be that big.
Yeah, all of the I believe all of the rank 2s have the 3 times you can stack effect, but it's good to mention that it still does it because, you know, we're still figuring out this archetype. Like I said, they have very, very flexible options to attach things. And then our next one, as the wiki may or may not be back, but sorry, my typing got a little weird. No, we're still a little slow. Okay, I'll grab it off. Just a Google search and shrink it down. Shockingly, people like Purrely, so we've also got good high res of their arts. It's Purrely Plump.
Oh.
Purrely Plump. And then this one's funny because this is associated with Delicious Memory, which, as we've just said, was Limit Trace and is now semi-limited both in the OCG and TCG. But it's got a pretty simple, art aspect. See, I can see the white border as I match the sizes here. It's just Purrely wants to eat a lot of things. Lots of very Japanese things, but still.
This Purrely is very hungry.
Yes.
Look at all those jelly donuts in front of it.
Yeah, jelly donuts. Also, let's talk about this. Keep in mind, a normal Purrely, when they're in their small form, is approximately a foot tall and weighs between 2 and 3 kilos. This Purrely is being offered, would like to eat, is staring in the window at juice, cup of coffee, some kind of, tempura sashimi. You've got soup, rice balls, 2 of the fluffiest ass pancakes I have ever seen, an entire fruit bowl, a salad. I believe that's some a spaghetti, a pasta dish. Got some fucking dumplings.
A Christmas cake?
Yeah. There's some beans in there. This motherfucker eating beans.
Beans.
Some croissants.
Yeah, there's a bunch of croissants and bread rolls and stuff. I forget the name
They
of that
even
type
made
of
sure the
soup
juice
with
had a
the
silly
like
straw.
eggs in there.
I think that's dim sum.
Yeah, so just holy cow, this is a fuck ton of food. No wonder it becomes Purrely Plump. But I do like Purrely Plump, kind of like having like this like floral or fruit like way around it. It's got the like bark pattern on its paws, which is very cute. Kind of going for maybe a little bit of a Leafeon vibe.
Yeah. Which makes sense. It's Earth type, which vibes with that.
Delicious Memory, which is, as we said, semi-limited in the TCG and OCG and is limit 1 in Master Duel. That's a quick play that says choose a monster on the field until the next turn. It can't be destroyed by battle, so that's just battle protection straight out. Then you can apply the following effect to discard a card if you do special summon a level 1 Purrely from your deck. Pretty normal stuff. And then Delicious Memory says that a Purrely with a Purrely Xyz with this attached to it gains 300 attack and defense for each material attached to it. So, hey, remember how Happiness, was that way? It was 2K? It could be more. Because there are ways to attach these guys to cards that are, obviously they're attached to quick play. So you can set up to get it. You don't have to just do the summon effect. Plump, though, is the other way around from Happy Memory. It is an Earth Fairy, like we said. It's rank 2. It has 200 attack, but 2100 defense. Soft once per turn. Target 2 spell traps in your graveyard. Attach them as material. Just attach extra materials to this card. This is a quick effect if it has Delicious Memory as material. Thrice per turn, when you activate the quick effect, it lets you attach this card as material and then banish a monster on the field until the end phase. A Farfa type effect. So, yeah, no, this is good. All of these are very interesting toolboxes, you know. Happiness has, oh, I forgot to mention what Happiness does when you attach. It's bounce a spell trap. So, Beauty changes battle position. Happiness bounces a spell trap back to hands. Plump banishes until the end phase. All of these are very effective. And yes, the fact that Plump really lets you get your number of materials going is very powerful. It's very important to this setup. This is another reason probably why Delicious Memory is hit, is because Delicious Memory is the one that makes its effect a quick effect, so you can get some very, very crazy vibes.
Yeah, you can do some filthy interrupts with Plump.
Yeah. So there's some very funny things. But our next one is the Exesis form of the Exesis of Purrely. Also came out in Duelist Nexus. When I get my materials, it'll be Purrely Noir. It's funny, the Wikipedia is like, it's loading regular cards pretty fast, but when I tab over to the Master Duel version, which is where they have all the higher quality art assets, it slows down a little.
God, sorry, I just had a look at the Purrely mate, and it's like, when you click on it, it just makes a bunch of cute noises.
Yeah.
Also, I have made my dumbass deck for the event. Ugh.
Alright.
Having to choose just one side instead of, going my usual route of all of it.
Yeah. So this was the one we used as our thumbnail because it's adorable. Sleepy Memory.
Yeah!
And Sleepy Memory goes with Purrely Noir. So that's just Purrely, but bigger.
And lounging.
Yeah.
Well,
Sleepy.
and that is the Purrely that becomes Happiness, right? Because it's the Happy Memory one.
Yeah, you've got regular Purrely, which I believe they're, because they are a species, regular Purrely can become Plump, Beauty, or Happy, but this is definitely the one from Happy because it's got the ball. And it's very excited. It wants to play, but Purrely is sleepy, which is very cute. Also, love this detail work, by the way. They didn't have to go this hard on this realistic background, but they did. There's, like, you can see the wood-burning stove in there and the firewood stacked up.
Yeah,
There's, like, a little bit of snow on the ground and on the fence.
It's a very well-done art.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Noir is, like, super comfy right now.
Yeah. So, Sleepy Memory says... Go ahead.
I like the hanging flower pot they
Yeah.
have there.
Lots of good background detail. Sleepy Memory says the next battle or effect damage you take this turn will become 0. So just zero burn damage. You can also then apply the following effect to do the usual discard a card, special summon a Purrely. And a Purrely Exceeds monster that has this as material gets the following effect. Once returned during your opponent's standby phase, draw a card. Honestly, that's pretty crazy. Like, I know this card isn't one of the ones that I think has seen the... Let me double check. No, yeah, this is Limit 1 in the OCG and Limit 2 in the TCG. I think this is deserved, because this means that you go first, you make a guy, and if it has Sleepy Memory, you get to go fishing for more hand traps, which obviously in the OCG means you can go fishing for Max C. Because Purrely doesn't play a lot of main deck monsters, you have a lot of room for non-engine.
Yeah, and you can just jam Maxi and hand traps.
Yeah, so pretty spicy. I'm kind of surprised that it's not limited in Master Duel. Maybe that's because it's an ultra rare, and that would mean they would give you free dust. Stare daggers. So, Sleeping Memory pairs with Noir. Noir is a Dark Fairy, obviously, rank 2. 1,000 attack, 2,000 defense, so kind of, mixed stat line there. It's, again, 2 level 2s. Once returned, discard a card, target a card your opponent controls, or if it has Sleeping Memories material, 2, return those cards to hand. Up to thrice per turn. When you activate a Purrely Quick Play, you can attach it and then set a trap directly from your deck. I can kind of see why, chat's been bringing this up. I can kind of see why Purrely hasn't taken off in Master Duel until now. This card was just added this month. It's in Nightmare Arrivals, which is the Illusion pack. This is clearly their best rank 2. Discard a card, bounce 1, possibly bounce 2. Pretty good. And set a trap directly from deck. Hey, that beats Ash. End draw.
Oh.
You just set from deck. That's good. Your opponent can't stop that. And we're going to talk about them later, but Purrelys do have a couple of good traps. I do like their knowledge for the traps. The traps are Purrely Leap, exclamation point, question mark, and Purrely Sharely, exclamation point, question mark. I love that with Dangers. I love it for Purrelys. So yeah, we got some fun stuff here. And then we just have the big ones. There are 2 big ones. Funnily enough. I'm gonna guess because, as we've kind of pointed out, this out of every deck in Amazing Defenders is pretty good. I'm pretty sure that all 3 of them kind of came out swinging when they came out. Being Mikanko, Purrely, and Rescue Ace, to remind everybody, and some of those who've come late. So, Purrely hasn't really needed a lot of extra support. It does always kind of surprise me, though, that they have not made, EX Beauty or EX Plump. It's just X Purrely Happiness and X Purrely Noir. Oops.
Yeah, we could very easily get those.
Yeah, I'll put both of them on. Both of these on, but yeah, we could get those. I'm also kind of surprised. I'm not that surprised for Fire. We went into the year of Fire, so I can see why Konami has not done it. But there's no Fire Purrely, there's no Wind Purrely yet.
Yet.
I feel like there's some very, I mean, if you want to be very simple, you could do, Purrely Breezy Memory and Warm Memory. Just draw Purrely curled up in front of a fire. Easy peasy. But we don't have those yet. Probably, again, because the Fire one, definitely probably because it's the year of Fire. But for, Wind, meh. I guess there's a concern with crowding the extra deck too fast, but... so I've pulled up X Purrely Happiness. I will also just grab X Purrely Noir for comparison, but we can talk about Happiness. This is the biggest Happiness. You can tell it's a very big dog now. We're definitely going the Pokemon sort of route because this design is getting very extra. We now have 6 sets of wings, probably. We have, I can't tell how many ears. Its little forehead thing is turned into definitely a crown.
The amount of ears we have is too many.
Yes. We've got little armor bits on some of our wings and legs. Also very much got, a little dog-like snout. So, we're truly cooking. And as I grab X Purrely Noir, very similar vibes. More wings. If we wanted to say that Purrely's supposed to be female, I could see that with kind of the way the face is drawn here with, the eyes and stuff. But now we've got extra cheek wing ears.
More wings. They look like... Yeah, hold on, sorry, I just realized. Purrely looks exactly like the kind of dog who was like, I am a lap dog. I am still gonna hop on your lap. And Noir's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna sit over there.
Gonna go sleep somewhere. But all kinds of patterns in there. I do like that Noir has, black sparkles. Kind of negative image. That's very good. But yeah, we're just hanging out. So... X Purrely Happiness
So
is
fluffy.
a rank 7 Fairy Exceeds Light, 2,500 attack, 1,100 defense. You can also exceed summon this card by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more materials. Transfer its materials to this card. So both of the X Purrelys, I believe, have a basically inherent rank up effect. Noir does look a little bit more like a big cat, though I think with the long ears it can also be a big dog. X Purrely Happiness definitely has big dog energy. They're both big, though. Like, X Purrely Noir is way bigger than a house cat. But yeah, so Happiness has a free rank up. During your main phase, you can detach material from this card. If you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of this turn. Your opponent can't activate effects in response to this effect's activation if this card has a level 1 Purrely monster's material. When an attack is declared involving this card that has 5 or more materials, inflict 1,500 damage to your opponent. Also, by the way, remember, all of these guys are Purrely Xyz monsters, so they keep all of the attach effects of your previous memories.
Yep.
So this card, if it's got the memory for the extra attack, you're looking at a card that is not 2,500. It's, well, it's got to have at least 6 materials because you attach it. You use a rank material to his material, so it's at least 6. So you're looking at like 300 times 6. It's a lot. You have, other various effects as well. And this, lets you negate your opponent's board. And assuming you have a level 1 Purrely as a material, so you haven't detached it somewhere along the way, your opponent can't respond. Fuck you. I am Dark Ruler no more. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. And then X Purrely Noir is Dark Fairy. It's only got 1,100 attack and 2,800 defense, but again, that doesn't necessarily matter. It has the same ability to Xyz summon using a rank 2 you control with 5 or more materials. This card is unaffected by your opponent's effects while it has 5 or more materials. Fuck you, I'm a Towers. You can detach 1 material from this card, or 2 materials from this card, sorry. Target 1 monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Put it on the bottom of their deck. If you have a level 1 Purrely monster, this is a quick play. Big mood.
Die.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Perish.
Yeah.
Quick effect, return to the bottom of your deck. That is, I think, quite possibly the meanest form of removal in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
Not even to the top of the deck, just away.
It's like,
with
no, you're not drawing that. It's not coming back.
Yeah.
You gotta search that shit again.
Also, yes, as Caesar in chat has pointed out, that return is just detached to. That is not a once per. That is not once per chain even. So if you have materials and aren't afraid to lose your Towers type effect, you could just keep detaching materials until your entire opponent's board is stacked at the bottom. So yeah, Purrelys are very strong when they get going, and they have a lot of really good ways to get going. Also, I like these little guys. If they got a dedicated secret pack, I may keep an eye out for that. But we've covered their 4 memories, so there's just their field spell and their 2 trap cards to talk about. So let's grab the field spell first.
Well, and the continuous.
Oh yes,
We
right. I
talking
forgot.
about
I forgot to put
You
Amigo on
sounded
the
so
list.
disappointed about that.
Well, it's my friend. You're right. I forgot to put that in my list as well. We'll do the field spell, then the continuous. Yes, mi amigo. We know about it because that's my joke earlier, but yes. Which, by the way, in the OCG is Purrely my friendo. Literally, Purrely my friend.
Yeah.
So they just reverse the grammar in English. My friend Purrely. But my friendo. Art-wise, there's not a lot to talk about. Purrely Stray Purrely Street. Yeah, it is just Stray Purrely Street in the OCG as well. But there's a little bit to talk about. Once again, the artist behind Purrely, really good. Great work with the lighting and background stuff here. Like, this is a great just general town design everywhere. Lots of great stuff with the lighting.
Yeah,
But also,
like
there is one very important thing. Purrely for scale.
I
Just
didn't
looking
realize it was. I didn't
No,
realize it
there's
was
a,
in
there's
that
a little
work
guy
mode.
down there. It's just a little guy.
Yep.
Just a little baby.
You know what this reminds me of, Omega? Like this town aesthetic.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but that board game we played with Lucky with the cute dragons.
Oh, Flamecraft. Yeah, it is kind of like that. That has a very like merchant town kind of a feel. This is just it's a little bit of generic, but it's a nice town. It's got a little shopping arcade, and there's a little Purrely for scale.
Yeah, no, it's just a very nice like it's just a very nice like portrait.
Yeah.
You know what, Omega? I might just co-op that. I might just, instead of saying birds for scale, Purrely for scale.
It's true. Yeah. So this is a field spell that says number one. This I think is a field spell that is beta testing things you're seeing with field spells now. Straight Purrely Street says your opponent cannot target Purrely monsters you control with card effects the turn they are special summoned. So this means that anytime you special summon a Purrely monster, if you have the field spell up, they are immune to Valor. They are immune to Imperm, and lots of other stuff. This definitely feels like Konami was beta testing stuff you see on the Sangen Manor, the field spell for Tenpai, and the new Gimmick Puppet field spell. But it is only just the turn they are special summoned. Once per turn, if a face-up Purrely Xyz monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, special summon a level 1 Purrely from your deck or graveyard. So basically, if your field spell is up, you have a... if your opponent actually gets rid of one of your big Purrelys, you can instantly go back into the little guy. Basically kind of like Sky Striker style. And then once per turn during your end phase, target a Purrely Xyz monster in the field, attach a Purrely Quick Play from your deck or graveyard to that card as material. Just a good field spell.
Just get whichever one you want.
Yeah, you are protected. If your opponent actually gets rid of a Purrely, you just restart yourself by summoning a Widdle Guy. And then also during the end phase, just stack whatever quick play you'd like, actually. I think this is definitely why you've seen some of these some of the memories on the limited list and the semi-limited list. Because just, like, having all of them at 3, obviously we'll talk about Amigo in a second, that's actually part of it. But, like, also just having so many of them, you can play them and also fish them out of your deck to attach. Like, you can get a lot of materials very fast.
Yeah, and you can also get a handful of just nasty effects stacked up all on one guy.
Yeah. No. Like, honestly, you want to talk about decks that play under the new Purrely, the Melchumi? Jelly Sea, as we see. Purrely, absolutely, because you only usually have to summon like 1 or 2 guys from hand. Then it's all extra deck summons, and you usually are probably going to end on a board of just 1 guy. Also, somebody in chat, I shouldn't say somebody, I can see who it is, it's Caesar, but chat said, POV, you're about to be adopted by a Purrely. No, that is, I believe, our next card, My Friend Purrely. Which is just, behold, a little Purrely. He's a little smudged. He's been playing in the dirt. He's got some leaves. It looks like Purrely is looking at the first snowfall of the year. But he's here. He's a little guy. Love the pastels, by the way.
You've been digging in the garden again, haven't you?
Yeah, this is Purrely getting adopted.
Just you. And to be fair, they do just say that, like, there are just these little critters in this town. Like, these guys are just in this town waiting for random children to find them. Anyway, My Friend Purrely is their continuous spell card. It says you can pay 500 LP, reveal 3 Purrely cards from your deck, except My Friend Purrely. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to add to your hand and shuffle the rest into your deck. So I mentioned this before, but once again to reiterate, this is probably why the semi-limited list is a good effect for Purrely, because if some of those memories are not semi-limited, you can do the classic Yu-Gi-Oh thing, because it does not say 3 Purrely cards with different names. You can just reveal 3 of whatever the card you want is. Your opponent must give you the card you want.
And on top of what we said before with straight Purrely Street, You can also then just put another one onto a monster later and
Yeah.
still have enough. Like
Yeah. So,
you still have more in reserve.
Yeah, you always have more in the tank. But yeah, this is just stack 3. Go for the whole thing. You add, you shuffle the rest back into your deck. If a face-up Purrely sees monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card during the damage step, add up to 3 Purrely quick play spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of My Friend Purrely once per turn. So, My Friend combined with Street means that you basically have the perfect recovery tool. If your opponent actually gets rid of one of your guys, you can immediately grab back your 3 out of your 4 memories from graveyard and instantly resummon a level 1 Purrely from your graveyard. And you're in it. Depending on when they do that removal, you may or may not actually be able to activate some of those effects. But still, it's a great recovery. And I do like that this explicitly says even during the damage step because it's if they run it over by battle. Also, yes.
Yeah, this deck has a lot of recursion power. So limiting the memories themselves is just the best way to handle consistency.
Also, I will briefly bring it up, but I was right. There is the Master Duel Purrely pack was just added. It's got happiness on it. It is what everybody should expect. It's Purrely Melfi.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, I think Melfi took a much stronger showing in Master Duel over Purrely. And it's probably because, as we joke about, Melfi is the best Zeus deck.
Yeah. Best deck for Zeus. They're actually all level 2s. Well, not all of them, but most of them are level 2s.
Yeah, they're all level 2s, so they can, in theory, summon the Purrleys. Yeah. I don't think you
I will also say,
deck,
in general, this is like why I think like Dinomorphia didn't take off in Master Duel right away. Master Duel takes a long time to get to some of those effects. Melfi's already had a secret pack. They were in Forest Friends, which is Melfi's generic, mystical of the forest monsters, and also the rescue animals. So, like, good cards. Also, that had, like, Nimble Mamanga in it. Wrecker Panda, Sea Koala. So, like, they had a good secret pack you could go into. Whereas, until, like, right now, Purrely did not.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, that's always a weird one. Like, I think sometimes Master Duel's way too slow in adding secret packs or updating secret packs because it's like I wanted to play Dinomorphia after I tried it out in that one festival where it was like a loner deck, but by the time the festival happened, I think the selection pack was already almost over. So like when I wanted to actually like make the deck myself, it was like, oh, you can't. The selection pack is done and you have to craft these cards, and I'm like, well, I can't do that because that takes 9 million ultra rare dust. But yeah, My Friend Purrely, very good card. So now we have the 2 traps, currently 2 traps. So keep an eye. These are the ones you can set.
Off Noir?
Yes. Yeah, Rekstrom wasn't out when the first selection pack is. Just Kentragina in a Dream is very funny. Like I said, I had a good time in the festival, but that was pre the Rekstrom print. Rekstrom just being skill drain is kind of annoying, but that's how we feel about skill drain in general. So first we have Purrleap. So this shows Purrely happiness using his special technique.
The jump?
Yes. With wings to big jump. It's very sparkly. Also, good use of color patterns here. You've got kind of the blue and pink, cotton candy swirl kind of stuff. Good effect here.
Purrely
Is
is
this
digital.
a very good? Yeah, it could be it evolving actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be it growing up. Also, just got so many sparkles, so many effects. Yes, this is a normal trap though. It says target a Purrely exceeds monster you control. Special summon your extra deck a Purrely Xyz monster with a different rank using that target as material, but return it to the extra deck during the end phase of the next turn. This is treated as an Xyz monster, Xyz summon, transfer it to the summon monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target up to 3 Purrely monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them back. You can only activate 1 Purrely per turn. So, this lets you go into your rank 7s on your opponent's turn, even if you don't have 5 materials necessarily, or would not have 5 materials right away. So that's really good. It's not really good for like side going because it only works on different ranks, but still pretty good way to like switch your guys up, on your opponent's turn. And then its banish effect is you can shuffle back 3, which lets you reload your extra deck. So very solid card to set up. Lets you get some action out, and then the next one is our last card for the Eventide. Though I do have a couple of Purrely concept arts I can also show from the valuable book. But behold, possibly our cutest card, Purrely. Hey, guess what? Nor came out to play after all.
And Plump and Beauty.
Yeah, they're here watching in the flowers. The gang's all here.
Winter has ended. It's time to play.
Yeah. Also, yes, you are correct, chat. You can use it to go from the big to the small and then back.
Just stacks upon stacks of Xyz.
It does return to your extra deck, so you got to be careful about resetting. But yeah, it's still like a funny way to do some stuff.
The Purrely deck just has an incredible amount of flexibility. It's just like what I'm going to keep saying. That it's kind of unreal.
It is a very interesting position where like you would think that a deck with only 2 main deck monsters doesn't have a lot of flexibility, but because of the way it plays, it does. There are so many different ways you can stack materials, so many different ways you can go into your guys. It's got a lot of opportunity, and you still get to play fucking non-engine in the main deck. And honestly, like, I don't know what else you put in the extra deck, but you have room in the extra. You can put some generic links in there. I don't know if they're a family. I think they're just, all a neighborhood pets. They're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Doing things.
So
Shirley,
I remember when I had a cat, it just constantly was like, how's it playing with the neighbor's cat? Like, when did they get here?
Cats do be cats. So Shirley is their other normal trap. It says target a Purrely Xyz monster you control. Special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck, negate its effect. Then special summon from your extra deck a Purrely Xyz monster with the same rank but a different attribute than the targeted monster using the special summon monster's material. This is treated as an Xyz summon. Then you can attach any card from your deck, any 1 card from your deck. Actually, no, it's the quick play spell. It's mentioned on it, but still, it's attach 1 card from your deck to that Xyz monster with the same name as a Purrely quick play spell attached to that targeted monster. So like, basically, Shirley is how you fucking multiply your Purrelys. You target 1 Purrely you already have. Summon a level 1 from your deck, make another guy of the same rank but a different attribute, and then you immediately get to attach a memory with the same name that's already on your first Xyz to that new guy. From deck. Crazy pants stuff. Truly outrageous. And this still works for your X Purrelys as well, because you have a dark and a light, so you can just, make a big, huge, towersy noir to turtle up, and then be like, Purrely Shirley, go into a X Purrely happiness. You get ready to fucking kick your ass for game. Pretty bold, pretty good stuff. But that's all the Purrely cards. Like I said, I will grab some concept art to take us to the outro. But yeah, Purrely is a very interesting deck. They're doing a very unique thing with basically 1-card Xyz monsters that are trying to get spell cards specifically attached to them as material. Obviously, we've had decks that do play with that. Like, Time Thief has some interesting rules for attaching spells and traps to them and what that does. but we are still in some very unique areas. And I think they're a very curious one. I do think that because they're so flexible, it does make the deck very consistent, especially without some semi-limits we've talked about. But it is a deck with room to grow. And honestly, though, it's a deck that I don't necessarily think, like, needs grow room. Like, I think there's things that you can do, but we have... we have targeted negation, we have, switching battle position, we have attack modulation, we have multiple forms of non-destruction removal. You can bounce back and, send to bottom of deck. You can banish as well. Like, I don't know what other cards they might need to really get some stuff out there. You got draw power in this deck. Like, it's all very fun and good. I mean, art-wise, obviously, I want to see, a wind and fire attribute one. But we don't have to. But yeah, that's Purrely's. I guess that means next time we'll be talking about more amazing Defenders. That means we have our a choice of either fire trucks or... magical girls, Mikanko.
Apologies, I would have talked more, but purely I would have just been gushing over how cute these cards are.
Yep. What were you saying, Whisper?
I think we should do the robots, though.
Right. Hopefully, not that I know, I think necessarily Axe has seen that show, but I hope he can make it because the wiki is claiming that Rescue Ace takes its inspiration from Tomika Hero Rescue Force, a tokusatsu from the late 2000s, which was based on the Takara Tomi's Tomika car line. It was a tokusatsu show about fire engines and firefighter heroes.
I've never heard of this.
Here, I'll drop the Wikipedia link in.
Okay, I was pulling it up.
But yeah, so we can talk about fire trucks. That's a fun one. Also, Rescue Ace does have a lot of very, very funny card names, the way their spell traps are all done. Alert! Lots of favors. So yeah, we'll hit it. Excuse me, hold that one up next. That will leave Mikanko for last out of that trio. But you'll also be looking forward to them Patreon polls. Let's double check where the poll is at. Hey, Loth, it may be your time. We've got 13 total votes, so we still got a week left, but a lot of people I think who can vote have already voted. And currently leading with 5 votes is Trap Tricks.
If you keep voting for the same thing long enough, eventually...
It's the style. Valkyrie is one behind at 4, or as I wrote it, Valurie, and I realized that you cannot edit the names of polls on Patreon. Once you name an option, you're stuck there. Artifact and Galaxy are a little behind it too, and I don't know why, but Ancient Warriors is 0 votes this time, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure it got a couple of votes last time, but the people yearn for the carnivorous plants. So yeah, it's looking like it'll be Trap Tricks. You still got a little bit of time to vote. You can support us on Patreon at the 5 and up level to get your ways and wiles in. But yeah, we're open-ended. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Like I said earlier, if you joined us late, you can go back to the VOD and check our first hour or so for new cards and ban list thoughts. We were correct I was good to do some of that stuff in there because Purrely was pretty short. It was only about an hour 15. There's not that many of them, and while they're very good, they're very straightforward. Also, I did, shorten some of the time by pulling up 2 card arts at once. But we did kind of have to talk about them interlinked. But yeah, that's Purrely. And that'll probably be the stream. Thanks everybody for tuning ins. Make sure, if you haven't already, go back and watch yesterday's stream. Me and Lucky played Power Wash Simulator. We power washed some things, and we talked about some stuff. And make sure to tune in tomorrow for our next entry in Final Fantasy XIV as I continue to play Endwalker. That's everything for me. I think I'll say goodnight there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and see you next time.
See you all.
On Fail Portrayal Z.